conversations.
Yeah, and that'll do it. Lee Williams, the gun writer, and look at him. He looks like he hasn't had any tacos since Taco Tuesday. Lee, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
Lee,
I
this
need
is
some
this is just a reminder that when you control the mic, you control the narrative. See, I heard I heard from, and Greg, you can jump in here, guys. This is fun stuff. Lee doesn't need that reminder. Maybe the enemies of freedom would, but we're playing with Lee today because he told Greg he missed Tuesday, and Greg mentioned Taco Tuesday. He says, I don't want to talk anything about Taco Tuesday. I hate that overhyped stuff. So I'm overhyping Taco Tuesday with Lee today, just for fun because we love him like a brother. So Lee, oh man, Lee, you talk about history in the making. I have got to get your thoughts about what is going down, and then I'm going to give you two more historic breaking stories just to add to it. Go ahead, and you know where I'm going.
I've never seen anything like it. I have never seen, I mean, we've seen the exact opposite of it. We've been piled on and piled on and piled on by anti-gunners and by the anti-gun government and by anti-gun media. But I've never seen our team be so successful and come up with so much in such a short amount of time. Have you?
Never. And I know it's a bold statement to make, but I'll make it, and I'll make it with authority. This is absolutely historic. We've never seen anything like this since this nation's founding. And I'm going to be very frank with you, ladies and gentlemen. None of this would be happening without Trump, because it's Trump's DOJ doing what we're going to talk about today that broke today. It's Trump's appointments on the bench that enabled us to get to this point. And it's Trump's appointments at the appellate level court in the district courts around the country, or the circuit courts, I should say, that have flipped the Third Circuit, that have the Fifth so strong, that are always strengthening the Ninth Circuit, and others. We would not be here were it not for that. So when we tell you that this is the most pro-gun administration in the country, I hope you believe us on that.
By far.
You're in agreement.
100%. 100%. It makes every other Republican looks anti-gun compared to Trump.
Well, yeah. It certainly does. You know, people like Thune. Oh, we don't want to talk about Thune or any of that stuff right now today. We want to stay on a happy, upbeat note. So let's talk about what happened today, and then we'll kind of circle. We'll do a Jen Psaki, and we'll circle back because I haven't had a chance to talk with you yet on the mics about what happened at SCOTUS and what's getting ready to happen last month, because it's now July 1st. Next year when that decision comes down, and it will likely come down on June 30th, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what day of the week that falls on, but it'll come down. It'll be the last day, and we're going to get the most monumental Second Amendment ruling this country has likely ever seen. And I want to get your perspective on, is it bigger than Bruen? Is it bigger than Heller? And kind of tie all this together, because as you think about this as the days progress, since we've had all this great information come out, what's going to happen when we win those two cases? Because we will. But first, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, Harmeet, Dhillon, and the DOJ have sued Virginia over their unconstitutional weapons bans. Those lawsuits dropped today. We had word that they were going yesterday. I didn't want to comment until I actually saw them drop. They were dropped. Virginia now being sued by DOJ, on top of a National Rifle Association victory in state court with a permanent injunction against implementation of those bans, which were slated to start today. And they're not. Virginia is being, the Democrats and their gun grabs are being sued out of existence. Lee, it's remarkable. Tell me about it.
The ban is unconstitutional. That's what the federal case says. And it is a federal government versus a state government on a Second Amendment violation. It is a real complaint. There's nothing nice in here. They're not saying, please do this, please do that. This is a full-blown lawsuit against the state of Virginia by the federal government for violating the residents' Second Amendment rights. And Spanberger didn't have to sign that. If she had not signed that, this would probably not have been filed. I cannot believe she was stupid enough, and that's the only word I can use, stupid enough to actually sign that legislation into law. This is a full-blown federal lawsuit against a state government for violating the Second Amendment, and it's strong. There's nothing mealy-mouthed in it. I read through it twice. It's a strong, no-crap lawsuit.
Here's what people in Rhode Island are saying. Why aren't you talking about me? Rhode Island's bans. Where's Rhode Island? Okay, Rhode Island, hang tight here. all right? Because what happened in Virginia was worse than what happened in Rhode Island. You got screwed too, but we have an opportunity to wipe all of it out. That includes you. And that's going to happen in June. Yeah, I know, you're suffering. Elections have consequences, guys. When you're behind a blue wall, that's what happens when Democrats are in control. And I do have breaking news right now from the Babylon Bee. I don't know if you knew this, Greg, but the Supreme Court ruled in a late release today that any baby born at Olive Garden is actually an Italian citizen.
Oh, wow.
And gets free breadsticks for
Amazing.
life. How about that one? Now, of
Why
course,
couldn't
I'm
I be
kidding.
born at Olive Garden?
You could be. Just go there today for dinner.
I'll just say that they're ageist if I can't claim to be a newborn baby.
Well, Lee, if you don't like tacos, can you do Olive Garden?
I'd rather do tacos. I'd rather do tacos.
Would you? I don't know what that makes me. Now I'm thinking about going to Olive Garden today. Haven't been to Olive Garden in a long time. Let's go to a tweet from Harmeet Dhillon 4 hours ago. We have a lot to cover with her. The Supreme Court made clear the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. Some states aren't getting the message. Every gun grabber should note, banning the most popular pistol in America violates the Second Amendment, and civil rights is taking action at civil rights. That's the DOJ under Harmeet. What is she talking about here? California was sued today because of its unconstitutional Glock pistol bans. In addition to Virginia, and there will be more suits coming. Let's not forget, they've already sued Colorado and the city of Denver as well. Rhode Island, I know. Just hang in there. I promise. I don't have an answer for you why that one's not on the front line right now like these other ones are, other than what I just mentioned at the outset a couple of minutes ago in my statements, Lee. But I believe we are on the cusp, and this is a very bold statement, and I mean it when I say this. If all of this comes together, I want to go back to my conversation that I had with Todd Blanche, Attorney General, in April in Houston.
30.
And I'll take us to the break with this, Lee, and then get your thoughts on this. After we aired, we had a 10-minute conversation. And while we were on air, he made it clear that the moves the DOJ and the administration are getting ready to make, this was back in April, no matter what happens in the midterms, will guarantee our Second Amendment for generations to come. And I see Lee shaking his head, yes, the beauty of technology. I can see that, so I know he's in agreement. When we come back, we'll go into greater detail about that because it's all coming together, and I will give you a very bold prediction here that the clock just took away from me. So we'll save that teaser for the break. During the break, why don't you head over and get some Blackout coffee and go grab one of those Cove Pure units while you can through the holiday weekend. We'll be right back with Lee. It's great to have you here, man.
Great to be here.
Well, let me pull you up in the back. There you go. So I'm going to make a very bold prediction here, Lee. If these things continue down this path, and we're going to take this through June of next year, because I don't see another Second Amendment case being picked up next year at all after this monumental 2 decisions over the last 15 days and the granting cert of the 2 assault weapons ban cases, the hardware ban cases. But this prediction's bold, but I believe it with all of my heart. We could be on the very cusp of literally ending gun control as the gun grabbers know it in this country over the course of the next 12 months. Is that too optimistic?
It's optimistic. I don't think it's too optimistic. I mean, look at what California's doing right now. They want to ban every Glock, and this is important, every Glock style handgun. I mean, you know how many companies that affects?
Yeah, everybody that makes a striker. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, tell me that's not something the state government should be doing, man.
Well,
I mean,
it's not.
It's crazy. Just that alone, it's crazy. I think that alone will constitute conduct that's over and above what's normal, and that will get them sued, and that will lead to more lawsuits. I really do think that. My point being, I do think that you hit the nail on the head by saying it. You knock out California, you knock out some of these eastern states. Gun control is going to be a thing in the past.
Yeah, when we get a ruling next June, that ruling is going to be all-encompassing. That ruling is going to wipe out the ability of any state or municipality or to ban common-use firearms, period. And that is
Right.
basically, ladies and gentlemen, are there any uncommon use firearms? I mean, it's literally going to be all encompassing. And the anti-gunners are so stupid by lumping Glocks in their assault weapons ban cases, because these are assault weapons. They want to call them assault weapons. Good. That's not going to age very well for you. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I'll see if I can pull this graphic up for those who are watching. I'll put it up on screen during the break. But I put up a really funny tweet. I cannot wait to watch the Connecticut, the Constitution state. I can't wait to watch Murphy's loudmouth, lying, everyday, drone-on, America-hating, Trump-hating nonsense get smacked right upside the head with the Constitution when their gun ban goes down and it becomes the law of the land. And I can't wait to see Blumenthal as well eat their words, because nothing they put out every day is going to age well for them, ladies and gentlemen. None of it. Now, let me go to California for a moment, Lee. He wrote, Harmeet Dhillon wrote a letter to Rob Bonta, the Attorney General in California, warning him, and we read part of it here on the air, may have read it all, warning him that unless the state of California drops this ban on the most commonly used handguns in the country, expect to be sued. Here's the response from Bonta that dropped yesterday. Dear Assistant Attorney General Dhillon and Acting Chief Barrington, my office has received your June 24, 2026 notice of suit, which threatens to file a lawsuit under 34 U.S. Code 12601 on the alleged basis that two separate sets of California handgun laws violate the Second Amendment rights of California residents. Specifically, your letter highlights, one, the Unsafe Handgun Act, which imposes public safety and quality assurance requirements that pistols, and revolvers must meet before they can be commercially sold or manufactured in California. And California Penal Code 297, we'll get into that nonsense. Your letter advises that your office will consider deferring the filing of the lawsuit for a short period if we agree to enter pre-suit negotiations that would require California to immediately cease enforcement of the statutes at issue, acknowledge their unconstitutionality, and agree to a consent decree to permanently enjoin California from enforcing the statutes at issue. And it gets better. The California DOJ will not agree to these conditions. The Unsafe Handgun Act and Penal Code section are common sense handgun design safety laws that help to prevent accidental discharges by experienced and non-experienced firearm users alike, and the conversion of semi-automatic pistols into deadly automatic firing weapons. For years, the California DOJ has defended these important laws in response to lawsuits filed by other groups, including the Firearms Policy Coalition, the National Rifle Association, the Second Amendment Foundation, and the California Rifle and Pistol Association. And they go on to talk about how the SAF recently dropped a case. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Gottlieb has agreed to be on the show for the first hour of the program on Sunday, and trust me when I tell you, you don't want to miss it, because we're going here with him, okay? This is all garbage. With regard to accordingly, if the U.S. Department of Justice decides to file the lawsuit described in your letter, it will not be breaking any new ground. My office will continue to vigorously defend the Unsafe Handgun Act and Penal Code Section 27595, just as we have defended California's other constitutional, common sense, and effective firearms laws. Now, Lee, Harmeet Dhillon responded to that letter by posting it on X with a "see you in court" and dropping the lawsuit against the state. California will not survive this. I'm going to tell you that right now, particularly on the heels of what the Supreme Court just did yesterday. Tell me about it.
Guaranteed. And you got to look at how the media is covering this, too. The New York Times described it as a ban by California on the sale of Glock and Glock-style handguns, and this is the important part, which can easily be converted into a weapon that can fire at the pace of a machine gun. Easily. Easily. Of course, it takes a piece of plastic that is a machine gun and is totally legal and will get you 5 years or 10 years in prison. That's how the media is covering it for them. So what's going to happen is you're going to have this all work itself out. The media is going to be totally pro-California, totally pro-Brana, and then they're all going to lose. And everybody's going to go, oh, wow, how did that happen?
The egg on their face is going to be glorious. It's going to be
Massive.
Absolutely glorious to watch, folks. But the bigger picture here is what this, I guess, foretells.
30.
I'll take us to the break with this. They will never stop, ladies and gentlemen. even when the Supreme Court smacks them in the face with the Constitution, they're not going to stop. They're going to try to find another workaround. And as Alan Gottlieb says, their creativity knows no bounds. You got to hand it to them. Predicting what that creativity is going to concoct, I don't know. But I have a sneaky suspicion that Thomas is fed up to here with these people and is going to see to it, as best he can, that they're not able to get away with it. More on these topics when we come back. Historic time to be alive, guys.
20.
And just fantastic news for the Second Amendment. I'll have more from Harmeet Dhillon when we come back. Don't go away. Go back to Harmeet for, briefly here. She's been in overdrive here with these lawsuits. And if we look at some of her tweets, guys, when I say this is historic stuff, these are the tweets coming out, or the posts, whatever you want to call it, one right after the other. Lee Williams, the gun writer. Harmeet Dhillon, U.S. Department of Justice sues California to halt Glock ban. The Second Amendment is a sacred right, belongs to all Americans, even those in California. California cannot ban the most popular type of handgun in America. We will work to, let me go into that, to stop this blatant trampling of our rights by the California government to protect the rights of lawful gun owners. Woo! I think she's stealing that from the Biden administration. Maybe the Biden administration should go after her for copyright infringement and all that stuff. Lee, what do you think?
Well, she's clearly one of the best DAs we've had. However, I wouldn't know. I've never had the opportunity to speak to her, so I have to. She has not responded to my tweets, to my emails, to my phone calls. So I'll have to put my final opinion on hold. Hopefully I'll get her soon one day, talk about Tate and some other things. But I got to tell you, just right out of the box, she is just incredible. She's doing what she says she does. Now, we've seen some Justice Department goons over the years talk about this and talk about that, harumph about this and harumph about that. But she's actually filing suit, or attorneys that report to her are filing suit. And that, brother, is huge.
Oh, it's.
I mean,
I said it was a 1, 2, 3 throat punch over the last week and a half. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 throat punch now, and a 6th throat punch when you consider that the NRA just won the injunction in Virginia as well. So John Comerford, I've got a statement from John, and I hope to get to that in just a minute. But when he was on the program, he telegraphed for us what was getting ready to happen as this 4-prong approach we talked about on the show. And it's working. And I would love to be a fly on the wall in Spanberger, the Wicked Witch of the East's office in the governor's mansion in Richmond. Boy, wouldn't you love to hear those conversations as they're just getting pummeled, wouldn't you?
And she was warned, just like Newsom and his crew were warned.
They don't care.
Look at the amount of taxpayer dollars these states are going to spend defending these crappy lawsuits. They know they're going to lose.
30.
Settle them now. Do the right thing for your residents of Virginia and California. Don't steal any more of the taxpayer dollars. Settle them and move on, Gavin.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They're too arrogant. They don't care about the taxpayer dollars. They'll steal it all day long.
They don't.
Gavin Newsom, so stupid, aside from guns today, just signed legislation in California, passed by that dopey, progressive, left-wing blue state. I'm going to tell you what I think about California, guys, when we come back from the break, too. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you agree on this one, okay? But he just signed legislation today guaranteeing a 100% tax on anybody that lives in California that benefits from the January 6th fund signed by Donald Trump. The state's going to take every penny of it. Of course, it's unenforceable, but he doesn't give up. We'll be right back.
Yeah, and Florida Carry does a great job. They're needed here. No state is 100% safe.
Right.
Florida has some laws we still need to get cleaned up, and some more laws that we'd like. Florida Carry, the great guys, great attitudes, and they're doing things. And they're all volunteers. Nobody's paid at Florida Carry. So every dollar that you give goes to the organization. None of them take a dollar home. It's very well made, very well designed, and very well carried out.
They are one of the top 5 groups
on their board.
Yeah, they're one of the top 5 groups in the country, ladies and gentlemen, and they're a large part of why Florida is now viewed as freer than Arizona. You know, and from my own personal experience, I'll tell you how important they've been. When I moved to Georgia in 2005, Florida was light years ahead of Georgia. Georgia Carry, now GA2A.org, went to work. I was one of the first 100 members, and we went to work in this state. And Florida wasn't going to touch us for years. But as a direct result of Florida Carry working with the governor's office and doing the legislative work in the state, Florida ranks now at the top, back again, in large part because of that. That's why you've got to join AZCDL, VCDL, and buy Florida Carry. Just join. They're dirt cheap to join, guys, $10, $20 a year. Just go and get in there. There's power in numbers. If you vacation in Florida and value being able to carry your firearm, everywhere you go in Florida, it's Florida Carry that is getting ready to drop yet again another lawsuit in Florida. They never stop. It never stops. So join these organizations, guys. It's very, very important. Here's a statement from John Comerford in reply to Harmeet Dhillon's lawsuit. I want to read this. John was just on the program with us last week. Time and again, the Trump administration has stood strong and delivered on its promise. The Second Amendment will never again be treated as a second-class right. The NRA and our members are deeply grateful that the Department of Justice is working hand in hand with us to protect the fundamental God-given rights of law-abiding citizens in the Commonwealth and across America. That's John Comerford, our good friend, who is the NRA ILA Executive Director. And I got to hand it to the NRA right now, who had a really difficult past few years, got rid of the garbage, flushed their toilet, sorry for the visual, and are now doing what they should have been doing and could have been doing but couldn't because of who was running the organization. No friend of ours over the last few years, but they're gone, ladies and gentlemen. This is a strong NRA, Lee. You agree?
100%. They showed up at the last SAF meeting
Yes.
I was at, and they spoke. They're an impressive bunch. It is a new, young, virile NRA, without any doubt at all.
It absolutely is.
I'm a
ladies
member.
and gentlemen. It absolutely is. Now, Lee, you know Alan Gottlieb very well as I do, and I want to give people a little dive into what I'm going to be talking about on Sunday. I mentioned at the outset of the program that all of this historic, record-setting, record-breaking, and I'm talking going back to the founding, ladies and gentlemen, there's never been a period like this. Not where we've had one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, and more to come. We will be reporting on more, and Alan will tell us about it on Sunday. And I mentioned that if it weren't for the administration and Trump, let me go even further. Trump wouldn't have had the opportunity, Harmeet Dhillon and the DOJ wouldn't have had the opportunity, Todd Blanche wouldn't have had the opportunity, John Comerford wouldn't have said what he said. The congratulations and thank yous coming in across the country because of the work they're doing and what's happening in the courtrooms would never have happened without Alan Gottlieb. He personally laid the foundation 50-plus years ago that laid the building blocks for the cases that we won, that being Heller in 08, McDonald in 2010. Even though Heller wasn't his case, their attorneys argued it on behalf of the plaintiffs. McDonald was his case, and then, of course, Bruen. All this groundwork was laid because of the building blocks that Alan Gottlieb put in place years ago so that we could get these cases to the courts. And mind you, the two cases that the Supreme Court just accepted cert on yesterday are Second Amendment Foundation cases brought by yours truly, that 5'5" statured, bespectacled, bow tie wearing, as my kids call him, savage. And it's been because of him. And I'm going to have him for the hour, and he's going to have to sit for the first 10 minutes as I lay out what he's done. And I'm going to thank him on behalf of all of us, yourself included. And it's going to be emotional, and it's going to be incredible, and you're going to learn something about Alan Gottlieb that you've never known before. I can promise you that. So make sure to be tuned in on Sunday's Monster Cast. That's getting ready to go down the pike. Lee, real quick, I got to ask you about Tate. We've got 30 seconds. I'm sorry I took it so long. Do we have any updates with the final 30 seconds on Tate yet?
None yet. I just moved a story comparing his 20-year sentence and showing again how it's so far beyond the norm. We've got people in here who have shot at people, lit people on fire, sold drugs. None of them got anything close to his amount of jail time. I mean, it's sick.
How close are we to getting him out? Can you give us anything?
I'm hoping in the next few days we'll know more.
All right. Okay. I'm going to hold on to that one. Let's talk on Tuesday about that in some greater detail. You've done God's work over there, and I know his family appreciates it. We all do. And you can read everything about Tate.
Yeah.
Just visit armedamericannews.com or saf.org, and Lee's got a complete list of everything from the beginning as he's been working hard as a true investigative journalist on the Tate Adamiak story. And David Adamiak, we love you, man. We're working for you. I guarantee he gets out. I guarantee it. I don't say that lightly. Lee, thank you for being here, brother, and for everything that you do. Gutting up against the break, I'm going to have to cut you. You better believe it, buddy. All right, that's Lee Williams, everybody. Tomorrow, coming up, not sure who's going to be on. And, guys, it's been so crazy out there. I'm not even going to be able to share. I'm not sure right now I'm even going to be able to tell you what we're going to talk about until tomorrow, because there is more breaking news coming. So until we meet tomorrow, enjoy your day, stay safe, carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere, and I'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for being here.